So in last class we already studied chemical properties of haloalkanes. In that we discussed that nucleophilic substitution reactions and elimination reactions, and also we discussed some of the Nemer reactions and reaction with metals. Okay, that only called Nemer reactions and reduction reactions. Now already we started the nucleophilic substitution reactions. Okay, in that two types is there. One is called unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reactions. Another one is called as bimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction, that is SN1 reaction and SN2 reaction. In that already we started unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reactions. Means, so when tertiary butyl, already we discussed in last class only, in SN1 reaction, unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reactions, in that tertiary butyl bromide, that is called as tertiary butyl bromide, so undergo reactivate sodium hydroxide, activate sodium hydroxide, or given KOH also. Either you can use the sodium hydroxide or you can use the what? Potassium hydroxide. Then there is a formation of, is a removing of what? Na and Br like this. Okay. Then there is a formation of so instead of Br there is attacking of what? OH. This Na and Br is combined. There is a formation of which one? NaBr. Now what is the name of this? This name we can call as tertiary butyl alcohol. Okay? Means conversion of tertiary butyl bromide into or tertiary butyl chloride into tertiary butyl alcohol. Okay? This we are calling as a SN1 reaction. Already we said about some important notes here. In that the rate of the reaction is nothing but the speed of the reaction is directly proportional to tertiary butyl bromide. Tertiary butyl bromide. What is meaning of that? So what is meaning of this is? What is the meaning of this means? The speed of the reaction, the rate of the reaction, which are directly proportional to concentration of the substituent, means tertiary butyl bromide. The rate of the reaction is directly proportional to tertiary butyl bromide. Means if we increase the concentration of the tertiary butyl bromide, tertiary butyl concentration if increase, then automatically the rate is increased. If tertiary butyl bromide concentration is decreased, the rate also decrease. Means the rate of the reaction which only depends upon the tertiary butyl bromide, which is not depends upon the what concentration of the nucleophile. If you take this is a OH minus, Na plus and OH minus. OH minus concentration you can increase or decrease, there is no problem. Okay, there is no problem with the rate. The rate is same, the speed is same, and this is involved first order kinetics, and also here we have to use polar protic solvents. Polar protic solvents. Now what is meaning of polar protic solvents? Now we are going to discuss. This is already we discussed in last class. Now we are going to the what type of solvents is there. Means in SN1 reaction, when you come to the SN1 reaction, this is the using of some of the solvents. See, there is a solvent. What is the meaning of solvent? In the reaction mixture with reactants, with reagents, there is one liquid we are using, one chemical which we are using in a large quantity. Okay? Suppose in one chemical reaction is going on, A plus B is reacting in that chemical reaction. That A plus B we are taking in one liquid which are always present in larger quantity. Okay, suppose if it is some X, that X we should be taking larger quantity. Okay, so which are involved in chemical reaction, that we are calling as a solvent. Solvents are two types. Polar solvents polar solvents, okay, and non-polar solvents. So what is meaning of polar solvents? The polar solvents is nothing but there is a partial positive charge and a partial negative charge in that molecule. Suppose if you take a water molecule, if this is a water molecule structure, you know already. Okay? In that, always keep in mind there is oxygen getting partial negative charge and hydrogen getting partial positive charge. Why? Why? Because oxygen is more electronegative. Okay? If you see here, oxygen is more electronegative. That's why it is getting a partial positive charge. They are getting a partial positive charge. Partial negative charge means water is a universal solvent. Generally, almost of the chemical reactions in chemistry which are going in the presence of water only. That's why it is called as a universal solvent. This is the polar solvents. Why is the polar solvents? There is the two poles are present. When you come to the non-polar solvents, you know this is a benzene. Benzene is act as a non-polar solvent. Why it is act as a non-polar solvent? Because there is no any charges in that. There is no any charges. And also when you come to the other molecules like cyclohexane also non-polar solvents. Cyclohexane also. Now like that so many non-polar solvents is there we discuss. Okay, we will go to discuss now. And now these always keep in mind polar solvents are two types. One is the polar protic solvents, polar aprotic solvents. Polar protic solvents, polar aprotic solvents. What is meaning of polar protic solvent? What is meaning of protic? Protic is nothing but which is having polar in nature, which is having positive charge and partial negative charge in that, and also they can possible to donate the H plus ions. Which solvents can possible to donate the H plus ions that we are calling as a protic solvents. Which can not donate H plus ions that we are calling as a non-polar solvents. Polar aprotic solvents. I am very sorry. So which can donate the H plus ions is called as polar, and protic solvents which can not donate the H plus ions is called as polar aprotic solvents. In polar, so non-polar solvents that one. And let us go some examples. Beyond the polar protic solvents. If you take a water is a polar in nature and also which can donate the H plus ion, that's why it is a polar protic solvent. And if you go some ammonia also partial negative charge on nitrogen, partial positive charge on hydrogen, which is also can donate the H plus ions. And if you come to the alcohol that is called as ROH, this is also what is the nature? Polar, and also can donate the H plus ions, polar protic solvents. There are so many examples like that. When you come to the polar aprotic solvents, acetone, that is the CH3, the C double bond O CH3. When you come to this is acetone. Acetone. Always keep in mind here what the C double bond O is that it is a partial negative charge and it is a partial positive charge. Here is a partial negative charge. Here is a partial positive charge. Means that there is a polar existing in polar. But this acetone cannot donate any H plus ions. It is not possible to donate any H plus ions. That's why I can call this is a, what is this? This is a polar aprotic. Means there is a partial positive charge is there, partial negative charge is there, but it can't donate the H plus ions. That's why it is a polar aprotic solvents. And some more like DMSO. I write here DMSO. DMSO is nothing but dimethyl sulfonyl oxide. Dimethyl is nothing but 2CH3s. Sulfonyl oxide is nothing but what? S double bond O, S double bond O. That is the dimethyl sulfonyl oxide. Here also, oxygen is getting partial negative charge, sulfur is getting the partial pass each other means it is a polar in nature. It is a polar in nature, but it is what? Aprotic. Why it is aprotic? It cannot donate the H plus ions or anywhere. Next, dimethyl formamide. Dimethyl formamide. Okay. So this also, see, now one is acetone, dimethyl sulfonyl oxide, DMSO, and also dimethyl formamide. What is the dimethyl formamide? Keep in mind. What is the dimethyl formamide? Is so H, C double bond O, N, CH3 and CH. This is the best dimethyl formamide. Means this also is existing partial positive charge and partial negative charge. Okay, but it cannot donate any H plus ions. That's why it is polar. Which solvents? Aprotic solvents. Then I said already non-polar solvents are so many types. One is called as benzene and cyclohexane. And also some more examples in non-polar solvents is carbon tetrachloride, CCl4 and hexane, cyclohexane and hexane, both are different. This is cyclohexane, this is hexane and carbon tetrachloride and etc. So many examples, these are examples of what? Non-polar solvents, and also it is a non-polar aprotic solvents. I can call as a even non-polar also. Non-polar solvents also there is aprotic solvents. Keep in mind. Why? Because these non-polar solvents cannot donate H plus ion. That's why I can call these solvents are non-polar aprotic solvents. These are the some little bit idea about the solvents. How many types of solvents in organic chemistry? One is the polar solvents, another one is the non-polar solvents. Polar solvents are two types: polar aprotic solvents, polar aprotic solvents. Polar aprotic is nothing but which can donate H plus ion. Polar aprotic is nothing but which cannot donate the H plus ion, and that is the non-polar solvents. Okay, I hope you understand. Let us go to the next one. I said now only what type of solvents which are used in SN1 reaction. That is the previous year question. The solvents which are used in SN1 reaction is polar protic solvents like water, alcohol, ammonia. Okay, these all are polar protic solvents which are used in where SN1 reaction, polar protic solvents. Keep in mind. Okay. Next, what is the mechanism of SN1 reaction? That is a very important. So always very important question, mechanism. So there is a question sir possible to ask for PU examination is write the two steps mechanism of conversion of tertiary butyl bromide to tertiary butyl alcohol. Now only we discuss that. What is the SN1 reaction? The SN1 reaction is nothing but conversion of tertiary butyl bromide into tertiary butyl alcohol is called SN1 reaction. There is a two steps mechanism. How many steps mechanism? Two steps. In last class only discuss what is meaning of what? Mechanism. Mechanism is nothing but which are detailed study of one chemical reaction is called as mechanism. It may be theoretical or it may be our assumption. This is completely theoretical. There is no experimental proofs in for mechanisms. Okay. In SN1 reaction, there is a two steps mechanism. Step 1 is ionization of C-Br bond. C-Br bond forms carbocation. Can you tell me what is meaning of carbocation? Carbocation is nothing but where on carbon there is a presence of one positive charge that we are calling as a carbocation. So in the first step, see, you can take our tertiary butyl bromide CH3, CH3 and CH3 and Br. This is a tertiary butyl bromide. Tertiary butyl bromide. In this tertiary butyl bromide, so what is the bond? I said C-Br bond. So this is called as CBr bond. Are you following? This bond is break. How this bond is break? Because Br is more electronegative, you know. Just take this Br out. When you take the Br, take the electrons. It is a very, very important. It's a slow step. Always keep your mind. Slow step is a rate determining step. Okay? We discuss in chemical dynamics. Okay? So this bond is break. When that bond is break, then what is remaining? That is a CH3, CH3 and CH3. Always keep in mind. This is a one single bond between carbon and Br. Br is more electronegative, no? So that's why these two electrons which are taken by Br, then Br is getting negative charge. This carbon, what is there here? This carbon is getting positive charge. Now on, very, very important, on carbon should be positive charge and on Br should be negative charge. Now this we are calling as a tertiary butyl carbocation. What we are calling is tertiary butyl carbocation. Tertiary butyl carbocation. That is the first step. Means what is that? Ionization of CBr bond. Ionization is also called as breaking. Breaking of CBr bond, C, Br bond, formation of tertiary butyl carbocation. Step 2. Take the tertiary butyl carbocation. Step 2. Wherein first step it is formed. So that is a CH3, CCH3 and CH3 and positive charge. This one I am taking. Okay, for that adding what we have nucleophile. What is we have nucleophile? That is OH minus. OH minus is our nucleophile. This can add like this, attack like this. Formation of which one? So CH3, CCH3 and CH3 and OH. This is the tertiary butyl alcohol. Means step 1 formation of tertiary butyl carbocation. Step 2. There is attack of OH minus to tertiary butyl carbocation. This step I can call as attack of nucleophile. Attack of nucleophile to where, ma? Attack of nucleophile to, this is a nucleophile OH minus. Why? Because there is a negative charge, electrons excess in that. Okay? That's why this OH minus go on attack to tertiary butyl carbocation, formation of tertiary butyl alcohol. This is a two steps mechanism of SN1. So many years repeated question with weightage of 3 marks. Okay. Then let's go discussing of graphs. There is a graph is there. Graph is nothing but reaction coordinates. Means always in first PUC only we discuss that. See, there is always two steps process here. Two steps process in mechanism are clearly understand now only. What is the first step? First we have reactant. After reactant, formation of which one? Intermediate. Formation of which one? Intermediate. After intermediate is reactive. This is a step 1, right? Are you following, guys? This is a step 1. What is the step 1? Reactants are react. Reactants are react. This is a formation of intermediate. Now this intermediate again react with what? Which one? This is a step 2. Nucleophile. Formation of which one, ma? Product. Means there is a presence of what? Intermediate here. What type of intermediate here? Carbocation is a what? Intermediate. So always keep your mind. If I take is the y-axis. And if it has take, this is the x-axis, guys. Okay, this is the x-axis. Okay. Now here I am taking what? Reaction coordinate. Reaction coordinate. What is the meaning of reaction coordinate? Reaction coordinate means how the reaction is going on, where the reactants is there, where the product is there. That is called as the reaction coordinate. This I can call as the kinetic energy or potential energy. Okay, now initially which is the reactants is there? Initially which is the reactants? We have reactants. reactants, here is the reactants are present. It is with kinetic energy this much. There is a presence of reactant with this much of kinetic energy. Okay, this much of kinetic energy. Now all these reactants are reacting with each other. Which reactants we have? Tertiary butyl alkyl halide. Simply, very simply I will write for your better understanding. Which reactants we have? Which reactant we have? Tertiary butyl RX. Tertiary alkyl halides is go and react with nucleophile. Initially formation of this is the transition stage. Keep in mind, before intermediate there is a presence of which one? Transition state 1. Before intermediate there is a transition state 1. Transition state 1. After that, this transition state 1 can again give one intermediate. What is that intermediate? Tertiary carbocation. Now this tertiary carbocation intermediate again react with the nucleophile, formation of which one? Another transition state, that is the transition state 2. Always keep your mind, no? Reactants are react first, formation of transition state 1. Okay? Clear all of you? Transition state 1. Now this transition state again is given the tertiary carbocation. I think you may know that you may get confusion that what is the transition state. Transition state is nothing but, suppose there is a one reactant molecule is here, another reactant molecule is here. When according to the collision theory, these two reactant molecules are collide with each other. When these two molecules are collide with each other, they get some energies high. Suppose previously less energy. Now these two molecules are collide, their energies go high. Okay, now that is called as transition state, which are very unstable. Why transition states are unstable always? Why transition state unstable always means? Always keep in mind, we have our normal energy in our body. If we have normal energy, then we are very stable. Suppose if you take some drugs to your body, you can take some drugs, intake some drugs, then automatically that drugs is create more energy in your body, then automatically you are going to the higher energy. If you take the drugs, then you are more unstable person. Why you are more unstable person? Because when compared to your normal energy, after taking the drugs, you may feel more energy. That's why always keep your mind, when compared to normal energy, if you are having high energy, then any molecule is unstable. That's why reactant molecules are react. What is the reactant molecule? We have tertiary butyl alkyl halide plus nucleophile is react, formation of transition state. After transition state, there is a formation of tertiary carbocation, this is intermediate. After this intermediate, again react with OH minus, formation of our transition state 2. Now this transition state 2, again formation of which one? Products. Again formation of which one? Product. This is the graph which are present in that. Always keep your mind. Now this is the energy difference between the reactants and transition state, and this is the energy difference between the reactants and transition state 2. Delta G0 1 I am thinking, I am writing, that is a delta G0 2. What is meaning of delta G0? First year thermodynamics. What I am taking this kinetic energy I am taking as Gibbs free energy. As a Gibbs free energy. That's why this is called as delta G1. This is called as delta Z2. Okay, now this is a Gibbs free energy 1 and this is a Gibbs free energy 2. So always keep in mind this, the energy difference between these reactant molecule and this more is nothing but this process is very slow, and this is called as rate determining step, and this process is a fast. Why? Because from here to here going to the higher energy level when compared to this energy, and this energy is more, requires some time, no? That's why it is a slow process, and that's why it is a rate determining step. Okay, but this is a fast process and it is not a rate determining step. So this is graph in SN1 reaction. Okay, very important. So they will ask the graphs for competitive exams, not important for PU exams. Now, so very important thing is we have some important points in SN1 reaction. Some important note on SN1 reaction. We have tertiary alkyl halide, secondary alkyl halide, primary alkyl halide. Among the tertiary alkyl halide, secondary alkyl halide and primary alkyl halide, which alkyl halides are more reactive? No doubt, tertiary alkyl halides are more reactive in SN1 reaction when compared to secondary and primary. Why tertiary alkyl halides are more reactive? Suppose when you come to the word CH3 and CH3, X. This is a tertiary alkyl halide. And when you come to the secondary, CH3, H and X is the secondary. What is the primary? CH3, CH2, X is the primary. The tertiary alkyl halide, secondary alkyl halide, primary alkyl halide. So after breaking this bond, we are getting the tertiary carbocation here. After breaking this CX bond, we are getting the secondary carbocation. After breaking this one, we are getting the which one? Primary carbocation. Among this all, which carbocation is more stable? Which carbocation is more stable? Tertiary carbocation is more stable. Why? Why tertiary carbocation is more stable? Due to the inductive effect. So, which carbocation in SN1 reaction there is a involving of carbocation is an intermediate. Among all carbocations like tertiary, secondary and primary, if which carbocation is more stable, that alkyl halides are more reactive in SN1 reaction. That is the reason. There is a statement and reason. Tertiary alkyl halide is more reactive when compared to secondary and primary in SN1 reaction. We have so many alkyl halides in that secondary, tertiary, secondary, primary is there. Among the alkyl halide, which alkyl halide is involved in SN1 reaction? If they ask, tertiary alkyl halides are readily reactive in SN1 mechanism. Why? If they ask, why? Because there is in SN1 mechanism or in SN1 reaction there is a carbocation is intermediate from tertiary alkyl halide. There is a formation of tertiary carbocation. This tertiary carbocation is more stable. That's why this is more reactive. So when compared to the tertiary carbocation, tertiary alkyl halide, allyl alkyl halide, you know allyl alkyl halide, and also when compared to this allyl halide, benzyl halide. So in classification only we will discuss what is the benzylic halide. What is the benzylic halides? What is the allylic halide? Allyl halides or allylic halides? And tertiary alkyl halide, secondary and primary. This is a classification only we discuss. Among this all alkyl halide, which alkyl halide is more reactive? If they ask, the benzylic alkyl halide is more reactive. Next is the allylic alkyl halide. Next tertiary and secondary and primary. Why? When compared to tertiary alkyl halide, why allylic alkyl halide and benzylic alkyl halide is more reactive? They ask. Okay, what is meaning of allylic alkyl halide? CH2CH and CH2X. This is allylic alkyl halide. What is meaning of benzylic alkyl halide? This is a benzylic alkyl halide. This is allylic alkyl halide. This is a benzylic alkyl halide. Among two alkyl halide, which is more reactive? Benzylic alkyl halide. After that, which is more reactive? Allylic alkyl halide. After that, which is more reactive? Which is less reactive? So topmost is the what? Benzylic alkyl halide. After when compared to this less than is allylic, when compared to the tertiary. So why this benzylic alkyl halide is more reactive in SN1 reaction? Because after breaking the bond between C and X, we are getting positive charge, carbocation. And here also after getting the breaking of this one, we are getting the positive charge. Among these two carbocation, which is more stable carbocation? Which is more stable? Benzylic carbocation is more stable. Why benzylic carbocation is more stable? First few only we discussed. Why? Because this carbocation is involved resonance with benzene pi electron. What is the resonance? You know already. The positive charge and that pi electrons are involved. The positive charge and pi electrons are involved. Resonance, a conjugation with benzene pi electron, that we are calling as a resonating structure. Means this positive charge always what happened is involve resonance with benzene. Previously positive charge is here. After delocalization or conjugation of these benzene pi electrons, we are getting positive charge is here. After this positive charge is delocalization by these pi electrons, and then get the positive charge here. After this positive charge can delocalization by these pi electrons. Like that, the entire carbocation is undergo delocalization or conjugation. Due to that only benzylic carbocation is more stable, and after that this allylic carbocation also somewhat less stable when compared to benzylic. Why? Because this is also involve resonance with the benzene, adjacent carbon double bond. Then now that what is the positive charge here? The positive charge is coming here, and then CH double bond C. Again these electrons are coming here. These electrons are coming here. The positive charge again going there. Means this is called as what? Resonating structures. And so among this, which alkyl halide is more reactive? Benzylic alkyl halide next, allylic next, tertiary alkyl halide secondary and primary. This is the one important point we have to discuss. Okay. I hope you understand. Once I am repeating, benzylic alkyl halide is more reactive. Why? Because benzylic carbocation is more stable when compared to allylic and tertiary, secondary and primary. Let us discuss what is the SN2 mechanism now. What is the SN2 mechanism? SN2 mechanism is nothing but bimolecular nucleophilic substitution reactions. Bimolecular nucleophilic substitution reactions. So, what is this bimolecular nucleophilic substitution reactions? Because let's go to the reaction. If we take the primary alkyl halide, that is the CH3X, primary alkyl halide, methyl halide can react with the same aqueous NaOH, can react with aqueous NaOH. Okay, instead of this X, I am taking the Cl. If you take the Cl there, then this is become not halide. This will become which one? Chloride. Means this methyl chloride can react with which one? Aqueous sodium hydroxide. Means removing of what? NaCl like this. Formation of which one? CH3OH plus which one? NaCl. This I can call as methyl alcohol. So then what sentence you can write? The what sentence we can write? This is a methyl chloride. This is the sodium hydroxide. Na is the sodium, OH is the hydroxide, that's why sodium hydroxide. This methyl chloride can react with the sodium hydroxide. Formation of what is this one? Methyl alcohol. This sentence you can write. So here some important points that we have to note down. What is the important points? Important points note down is what is the rate I said? What is meaning of rate? Is a one chemical reaction. This chemical reaction may complete 1 hour or 2 hours. Means the rate of this chemical reaction, the speed of that chemical reaction. One car is there. One car may be move with this somewhat speed.
per hour, this much of 60 kilometers per hour, 70 kilometers per hour, like that. Okay, like that one chemical reaction is there, how much speed it will go. It will go how much speed, that I can call as a rate. This rate is directly proportional to concentration of methyl chloride, and also concentration of nucleophile. Which nucleophile we have here? OH minus is a nucleophile, Na plus and OH minus. This is a rate. What is meaning of this? See, suppose I can increase the concentration of methyl chloride by 2 times. Okay, and I can increase the concentration of the what? Nucleophile 2 times. Then rate of the reaction is become 4 times. The speed of the reaction is become 4 times. Why 4 times, guys? Because the rate, the speed is depends upon the both molecules here. One is the methyl chloride and also nucleophile. So if I increase the concentration of the methyl chloride 2 times and concentration of the nucleophile also 2 times, the rate of the reaction is increased by 4 times. Okay. Suppose I have increased the concentration of the methyl chloride 2 times, and if I decrease the concentration of the nucleophile 2 times, what about the rate of the reaction? There is no change. Why there is no change? Because one I can increase it 2 times, one I can decrease it 2 times, then both is nullified. Both is nullified. That's why there is no change of the rate when if increase the concentration of the nucleophile 2 times, and if it increase the one is increased by 2 times, another one is decreased by 2 times. Okay, such type of questions they will ask. Then now it is involves second order kinetics. Second order kinetics, and also polar aprotic solvents are used. Polar aprotic solvents are used. What is the meaning of polar aprotic solvents? I said already, DMSO, DMF and acetone. These are the polar aprotic solvents. In this SN2 mechanism, this is involving of which solvents? Polar aprotic solvents, and it is the second order kinetics, and the rate of the reaction depends upon that. So this is the one. Okay. Now, what is the mechanism in this SN1, SN2 reaction? What is the mechanism? See, always keep in mind, this SN2 mechanism is only single step. There is only single step. Okay, single step mechanism. What is meaning of single step? There is no intermediate. See, already we discussed that if there is no intermediate, is there any transition state? If there is no any intermediate, is there any transition state? Yes, if there is no intermediate, there is a transition state. Okay, suppose I said already, if we have one reactant molecule, if this reactant molecule can able to form intermediate, suppose this intermediate can able to form product. This is one chemical reaction always proceed, but some chemical reaction there is no any intermediates. Okay. Suppose if the reactant molecule having one intermediate means there is a one transition state 1. Okay. Suppose this intermediate again forming product is nothing but there is a transition state 2. Okay. Suppose if you think that there is no any intermediate in any one chemical reaction, it means that there is a no transition state 2. Means there is a reactant molecules can directly able to form products with one transition state. So that is the difference between the transition state 1 and transition state 2. Now I said now only this SN2 mechanism is a single step. What is meaning of single step? So I said it is a reactant molecule, methyl chloride, can react with what? Nucleophile, then directly formation of what? Methyl alcohol. So there is no intermediate here. So how can we can explain the mechanism very detailedly? So let us take carbon. This is a carbon. and we are taking the 3 hydrogens like this, 3 hydrogens, and this is our Cl. Now this is a methyl chloride. Methyl chloride. You take the nucleophile, that is a OH minus. See, always OH minus can attack towards electron deficient carbon. I can say this is electron deficient carbon and this is a more electron rich. Why Cl? Why? Because this Cl is more electron negative in nature. It can accept the electrons from carbon. Then automatically there is a creating of partial positive charge here and partial negative charge is there. So this nucleophile, we know why, because it's having excess of electrons. This nucleophile can go and attack 2 electron deficient carbon atom. 2 electron deficient carbon atom. I can clearly show you here why this nucleophile is going from here and coming here. Why can't the nucleophile is come and attack like this? Means if this carbon is here, this side is called as friend side. For this carbon atom, this side is called as friend side and this side is called as back side. Friend side, what is there? Cl is there, and back side, what is there? Hydrogens is there. Always the nucleophile is come and attack back side for this carbon atom, back side. Why can't it come front side? If it is a carbon, Cl is there here, why nucleophile can't come here? Because this Cl having 3 lone pair of electrons, there is an electron cloud is there on Cl in the presence of lone pair. So this also electron cloud means is having some negative charge and the OH minus also having some negative charge. If we come this like this in same side where the Cl is present for approaching of this carbon, this electron deficient, there is electron repulsions will arise between the Cl and OH minus. That's why the nucleophile is can't come like this, front side. That's why the nucleophile is attacked back side to this electron deficient carbon atom. I hope you understand how the nucleophile is attacked now. Why the nucleophile is attacked? Why? Because OH minus OH is a minus charge, negative charge is one always electron deficient carbon atom. That's why it is attacked like this towards back side of this for this chlorine atom. Okay. Now there is a formation of transition state. I said now only there is no intermediate, there is a transition state. Before only I said what is the difference between the intermediate and transition state. Intermediate is one of the stable molecule and which is having some charges. Transition state is not a stable molecule, there is no any charges in that. So now there is a transition state, one transition state is formed. This I can call as a transition. How the transition state is formed? What type of things arises in the transition state? Okay, so see, when these nucleophiles come and attacking like this, and these what we have Cl, the Cl I can call as leaving group. Why? Because one nucleophile is coming like this, one should be is removed. That's why it is called as nucleophilic substitution reaction. Starting only we discussed about this. If nucleophile is come attack towards this electron deficient carbon atom, simultaneously there is a Cl is leaving from that. Okay, and there is a when Cl is leaving, there should be break some bond between this bond between the carbon and the Cl. There is no completely bond break. There is a partial bond break between the carbon and Cl. Partial bond break between the carbon and Cl. Why? Because still is not completely break. Why? Because OH minus still is approaching. When it is come and approaching, and there is a partial bond breaking is happened, and there is simultaneously even there is a partial bond formation between this nucleophile and carbon. Keep in mind, this is called as a partial bond making between the carbon and not hydrogen. If I writing this hydrogen, you don't think is a bond, partial bond forming between oxygen and carbon, not oxygen and hydrogen. Okay, partial bond forming here, partial bond breaking here. Okay. Finally, I think 3 more hydrogens is there. There is no disturbing here. Okay, I think you are observed why I can call it as a transition state. Around the carbon, how many bonds are possible? 4 bonds are possible. But here, how many bonds is there? Of course, there is a partial bonds. But there is existing of 5 bonds, which is not always stable. It is unstable. That's why it is called a transition state. If it is any molecule is unstable, that is very high energy. Finally, what happened? Means there is a complete bond breaking between the carbon and Cl. Who is the leaving group here? Cl is the leaving group. who is attacking reagent here? Nucleophile. That's why there is a completely bond formed between the carbon and oxygen and completely bond break between the carbon and Cl. We are getting that CH3OH. How the CH3OH we are getting? See, always I am writing some different way. I hope you are better to understand that. See, this is a methyl alcohol. What is the product? I said this is a product, no? So methyl alcohol finally we got, and Cl minus is completely leave from this reactant molecule. Okay, why? Because why we get the Cl is a negative charge? Why? Because the Cl is taking these electrons, that's why it is negating negative charge. You don't write any again negative charge either here or here. Why you can't write a negative charge? Why? Because these electrons are donating already this electron deficient carbon atom. That's why you don't write negative charge here and you don't write any negative charge here, but you should be write a negative charge here. You may get one doubt here. Sir, why is that before you were writing these hydrogens are this side? I think is my left side in board. But when you come to the product in methyl alcohol, we are getting the what? The hydrogens are right side, entirely opposite. So why that all reasons we discuss in next class. Thank you.